Welcome the anointed ones. Who told you that time was your enemy when in fact it was your disguise? Chosen one, you felt their eyes on you every moment your reflection defied the calendar, every time your energy refused to dim when they expected you to fade. They whispered that age would catch you, that life's where would crack your spirit. Yet here you stand, radiant and unbowed. Your glow is no accident. It is the sign of a deeper reality, a sacred timeline they could not comprehend. Tonight, hidden truths will surface. How your spirit rewires your cells, why emotional freedom becomes a fountain of youth, and how stepping outside their system preserves your divine spark. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay close, because by the end you'll understand why your youth is not a miracle, it's your mission, and they will never see it coming. Spiritual realignment over physical tricks. You've spent countless nights staring into the mirror, tracing every line and wondering if you'll ever reclaim the glow you once saw there. You feel the tug of frustration when smooth skin creams promise miracles, but deliver only fleeting satisfaction. You've watched others chase the next beauty trend, believing their worth rises with each bottle they buy, and you've wondered if you're the only one who feels trapped in the same cycle. You're not alone in this silent struggle. Deep down, you know that your beauty is more than skin deep, yet the pressure to conform to physical ideals can drown out the whisper of something greater within you. Tonight, you'll discover why the real fountain of youth is not found on a pharmacy shelf, but in a sacred alignment you've only begun to explore, and how this inner transformation reshapes not just your appearance but your entire life. It's more than vanity that drives you. It's the ache of watching youth fade as if each birthday were a notice of dwindling relevance. You've poured money into treatments that promise to erase the years, only to feel more vulnerable when the results fell short of your hopes. Each misstep in a beauty routine echoed like a reminder that, no matter how much you tried, you could not prevent the subtle shift of time etched upon your face. That disappointment sank deep, leaving you questioning whether your true value depended on fleeting looks. You felt the conflict between self-care and self-criticism, the urge to honor your body warred with the fear that every imperfection spelled irrelevance. In those moments of confusion, you sense there must be a deeper source of renewal, one that transcended creams and called you back to your soul's vitality. Your longing for lasting transformation has always been part of a divine unfolding, even if you couldn't see it at first. In the crucible of your quest for beauty, an ancient plan was taking shape, a plan that did not rely on potions but on sacred union. Recall the vision of Isaiah, who, overwhelmed by unworthiness in God's presence, was touched by a seraph's coal to purify his lips, preparing him to speak prophecy. Isaiah 6 verses 6 to 7. That moment of spiritual realignment did more than cleanse sin. It repositioned his entire being for higher purpose. In the same way, your pursuit of perfection has led you to a threshold where inner alignment becomes the furnace of true renewal. Every disappointment, every failed treatment, has been the hand that turned you toward a source of transformation beyond the reach of physical ingredients. Now, pay attention to the subtle shifts unfolding in your life. You may notice that friends comment on your vibrant energy before they even mention your appearance. You feel a newfound lightness in your step, as though the weight of your insecurities has lifted. In quiet moments, your breath seems fuller, and the color returning to your cheeks is less about makeup and more about the radiance of restored faith. Opportunities for joy emerge unexpectedly. A sunrise that feels like a personal invitation, a meaningful conversation that ignites your spirit, a creative impulse that surprises you with its clarity. These are not coincidences, but markers of divine timing at work, aligning circumstances and energy around the sacred realignment you've embraced. The more you lean into this inner shift, the more undeniable it becomes that your beauty springs from a place far deeper than surface care. Behind these transformations stands a tapestry woven by unseen forces, each thread an act of divine grace. Every time you felt discouraged by another beauty flop, unseen hands were guiding you toward practices that nourish your soul, moments of prayer, meditation, and heartfelt gratitude that recalibrated your entire system. Angels, dispatched at the whisper of your longing, have arranged synchronicities to bring you to teachers, communities, or texts that speak directly to your heart. Your faith, far from being a passive wish, has operated as a catalyst that reshapes molecular structures, accelerating cellular renewal beyond what creams or lasers can do. This is not wishful thinking, but the interplay of faith and manifestation. What you believe in the invisible realm begins to show up in your flesh and bone. At this crossroads, many hesitate, fearing that true spiritual alignment might demand too much surrender of control, too much vulnerability, too much faith in what cannot be seen. They resist the call to reorient their lives around sacred practices, clinging instead to quick fixes and short-lived victories. Yet true transformation requires more than noticing the signs of renewal. It demands a wholehearted leap into the current of divine purpose, trusting that every step taken in faith carries you toward deeper healing. This is your sacred moment, a choice between lingering in the familiar cycle of frustration or embracing the full invitation to align your spirit, mind, and body with the eternal source of your youth. You already hold the key to unlock this deeper renewal. Release the fear that says you aren't worthy of true transformation, and cast aside the doubt that whispers you're too far gone to reclaim your vitality. Instead, declare with conviction, I realign my spirit with the divine source. My beauty emerges from this sacred union. Commit to daily rituals that honor this alignment. Perhaps a dawn meditation focusing on your inner light, a midday prayer of gratitude for your body's resilience, an evening reflection on moments when you felt most connected to your soul. Surround yourself with a community that celebrates your spiritual journey and mirrors back your worth. Each intentional act of alignment deepens the transformation, rewriting the blueprint of your cells with the ink of faith. Your journey from chasing creams to cultivating Christ-like communion is not merely personal. It is a testament to the power of divine alchemy at work in the lives of the chosen. The world may continue to peddle surface solutions, yet your light shines as proof that spiritual realignment overcomes every physical trick. As you deepen this sacred union, your glow becomes a beacon, guiding others toward the same source of renewal. Your skin, your energy, your posture all become living testimonies of a life anchored in divine frequency rather than fleeting trends. In this shift, you embody the promise that time bows to the one who walks in the currents of eternity. Your true fountain of youth flows from the alignment of your spirit with the source of all life. This is where your real beauty is cultivated, in the stillness of prayer, the surrender of your fears, and the daily devotion to divine presence. Let every whispered affirmation, every moment of quiet awe, restructure your biology until surface solutions fade into irrelevance. Claim this alignment as your highest self-care, and watch as your glow outshines any cosmetic promise. Comment a line if this resonates with you, and step fully into the eternal beauty you were born to embody. And a special thanks to our current members who hold this light with unwavering faith. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Emotional alchemy and energy clearing. You've felt the weight of every unspoken hurt stirring deep in your chest, a heaviness that lingers long after the circumstances have passed. You wake with dreams half remembered, fragments of tears shed in darkness, and you wonder if you'll ever feel light again. You've sat in quiet rooms praying for relief, only to find your spirit still burdened by the echo of past wounds. You are not alone in this journey. Every chosen one carries scars as proof of battles fought, battles that many cannot see. Yet within that pain lies a secret gateway to transformation. Tonight, you will discover how the same fires that once threatened to consume you can become the crucible of your renewal. Hold on to that flicker of hope, because the truth you're about to learn will reshape how you carry every tomorrow. There were days when the memory of betrayal cut deeper than any knife, when a single phrase repeated in your mind like a recording of shame or rejection. You felt the sting of abandonment when friends turned away, the ache of words left unsaid that echoed through your soul, and the isolation that followed every heartbreak. You may have climbed into bed with a racing heart, replaying scenes where you felt powerless or unworthy, convincing yourself that the pain would never release its grip. In those lonely moments, you questioned whether healing was an illusion, a promise made by well-meaning voices that never quite reached the hollows of your spirit. Yet even in that darkness, there was a call to something higher, a whisper that your wounds were not the end of your story, but the beginning of a greater victory. Your turning point began with a quiet surrender of control, a decision to step into the unknown rather than cling to the familiar ache. In that moment, you mirrored the obscure story of the Israelites at Marah, who found the water bitter and unfit for drinking until Moses cried out, and God showed him a piece of wood to throw into the water, making it sweet. Exodus 15 verses 22 to 25. What seemed unchangeable, what tasted of bitterness, was transformed by a single act of faith and obedience. Your own plunge into vulnerability, your willingness to admit that you could not bear the burden alone, became the catalyst for your spiritual alchemy. From that moment, your tears and confessions were not signs of weakness, but the raw materials of your purification, turning every wound into the very water that would sustain your renewed life. Since that sacred threshold, subtle shifts have woven themselves into your everyday reality. You wake with a gentler heartbeat, as if your spirit rests more easily within you. You notice tensions melting from your shoulders in moments when you breathe deeply and surrender old stories. Your energy field, once dimmed by the lingering shadows of trauma, begins to glow with renewed vitality, drawing people toward you with genuine warmth. You find yourself speaking words of encouragement to others without effort, as though your own healing overflowed into compassion for those around you. Opportunities for joy no longer feel forced. They arrive unexpectedly. A sunrise that feels like a personal benediction, a song lyric that resonates like a direct message to your soul. These are not random sparks of relief, but unmistakable signposts of divine timing, each pointing you toward the path of continued renewal. Behind every sign of transformation stand unseen hands gently guiding each step. Every time you reached out in prayer, feeling your voice catch on old pain, celestial allies answered with whispers of comfort and strength. Moments you thought were mere coincidences, bumping into a mentor in the grocery aisle, receiving a text from a friend who seemed to know your heartache, were in fact angels marching in formation to clear your path. These interventions weren't tests of endurance, but deliberate setups for your elevation. Your faith, an active force rather than a passive hope, summoned an alignment of circumstances that birthed new possibilities. What you dismissed as luck was actually the intricate weaving of your destiny, reinforcing that your calling is as real as the breath you draw. Yet even as these transformations unfold, many hesitate at the edge of full abandonment to the process, fearful of surrendering their old identities for something uncharted. They shrink back from the vulnerability required to let every last fragment of trauma be consumed by the flame of alchemy. They worry that embracing true change will strip away what little stability they know. But true alignment demands more than observing the signs of renewal. It requires stepping into the fire one final time, trusting that the same flames that purify will not destroy. This is your sacred moment, a threshold where you must decide whether to remain tethered to old wounds or to claim your rebirth and emerge fully cleansed and unafraid. You already possess the courage and resilience to move forward into this new reality. Release the fear that whispers, "What if I break again?" and cast aside the doubt that murmurs, "I'm not strong enough." Instead, declare with unwavering conviction, "I choose healing. I choose transformation." Anchor your days in practices that reinforce your renewal. Perhaps morning reflections on how far you've come, midday moments of gratitude for the softening of old pains, and evening prayers offering back every hurt in exchange for wholeness. Surround yourself with a circle that honors your journey and upholds your newfound light, and tend to your spirit with the same care you once reserved for your brokenness. Each choice to step forward rewrites the story you once believed about your worth. As you embrace this path of emotional alchemy, remember that your healing is not just for you, but for all who witness it. Every tear you transmute into hope becomes a beacon for someone still trapped in despair. Every fragment you reclaim as strength becomes a guidepost for those who doubt their own worth. Your journey will ripple outward, igniting sparks of courage and renewal where darkness once reigned. This is the higher purpose woven into your story: to stand as living proof that no wound is too deep to heal and no soul beyond redemption. Your transformation is well underway, and the final step rests in your hands. Embrace this moment with full awareness of your power, knowing that every piece of your past has been redeemed to fuel your ascent. Comment alchemy if you choose to transmute your pain into power and stand fully in the light of your renewed spirit. And to every soul who supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here, unplugging from society's matrix. You felt the relentless pressure to perform, as if your worth were measured in likes, shares, and the hollow applause of the world. Every morning your phone buzzes with notifications demanding your attention, pulling you into a cycle of comparison and competition before you even take your first breath. You've wondered if your real self even exists beneath the layers of filters and expectations. You're not the only one who's grown weary of this race to impress. There is a deeper reality waiting beyond the glare of screens and the rush of endless commitments. A place where your spirit can finally breathe and your true value shines without the world's applause. Stay with me, because I'm about to reveal the hidden keys that will unplug you from this matrix and set your soul free. You know too well the ache that comes when every achievement feels temporary and every victory tastes of ashes. You remember the dawn spent crafting the perfect post, only to feel empty when response numbers fell short of your hopes. You've sat through meetings where your voice was drowned out by louder agendas and walked away convinced that your ideas held no weight. In the quiet of night, you've questioned whether your dreams matter, whether your calling is real or just another vanity project in a world obsessed with performance. Your spirit has cried out for a refuge, for a place where worth isn't tied to metrics or milestones, but flows from something far more enduring. Yet your struggle with the world system has never been random. It has been part of a divine roadmap, guiding you away from the noise toward a deeper union. Think of Abram, who heard a call to leave his homeland and all that was familiar, stepping into an unknown destiny because God said, "Go." Genesis 12 verses 1 to 4. He refused comfort and conformity, trading the culture of you are for a promise that transcended worldly measures of success. In his obedience, he discovered that identity is not found in achievements, but in alignment with a higher purpose. Your own moments of resistance, the times you turned off notifications, declined invitations that felt hollow, or chose solitude over social obligation, have been your preparation for a life defined by divine alignment rather than human approval. Now, look for the subtle shifts that signal you are breaking free. You may notice that the same buzz of your phone no longer triggers anxiety, but is met with a calm that invites discernment. You feel lighter when you skip the noise and step outside to watch the sunrise without your morning feed. Conversations that once left you drained now leave you inspired, as if your energy field has been recalibrated to attract deeper connection instead of superficial chat. You find your mind opening to creative thoughts you used to dismiss as distractions, notes for a new project, visions of service, inspiration for heartfelt expression. These moments of clarity are the unmistakable markers of divine timing, guiding you toward the rhythm of heaven rather than the chaos of the crowd. Behind these shifts, unseen forces are quietly rearranging your path to clear every stumbling block. Every time you felt tempted to return to the world's treadmill, a small miracle awaited you. An unexpected word of encouragement from a mentor, a scripture that leapt off the page just when you needed it, a friendship that anchored your soul when everything else felt unsteady. Angels have stood at the edges of your choices, nudging you away from the quicksand of comparison and toward solid ground. Your prayers, even whispered in moments of doubt, have summoned this alignment, proving that faith is not a passive wish, but an active summons for divine intervention. What you once saw as random coincidences are actually carefully orchestrated steps toward your elevation. Yet recognizing these interventions is only half the journey. Now you must choose to embrace this new reality fully. Many shrink back at this threshold, afraid that letting go of the world's measures of success means losing their sense of purpose or identity. They cling to busyness as proof of importance, trading their peace for a false sense of productivity. But true alignment calls you to surrender those fears, to step into the unknown with confidence that your worth is secured in the foundation of your soul. This is your sacred moment, one where you decide whether to remain bound by others' expectations or to rise in the freedom of divine purpose. You already carry within you the power to live beyond the matrix. Release the guilt that tells you you're selfish for choosing silence over social obligation. Cast aside the doubt that whispers you'll be forgotten if you stop performing. Instead, declare with bold clarity, I am free from the world system. I live by a higher call. Establish daily practices that reinforce this truth. Perhaps a morning ritual of stillness before the rush begins, a midday walk without your phone, or an evening reflection where you give thanks for moments of genuine peace. Surround yourself with companions who celebrate your courage to unplug. Take concrete steps today. Mute non-essential notifications. Set aside blocks of uninterrupted time for spiritual practice, and cultivate hobbies that feed your soul rather than your social profile. As you walk this path, you demonstrate to the world that true success is measured in peace, purpose, and presence. Your life becomes a beacon to others lost in the maze of expectation, showing them that there is a way out of the performance trap and into the freedom of divine alignment. Each step you take in faith weakens the grip of the matrix on your identity and strengthens the call of your mission. You become living proof that a life unplugged from societal pressure can thrive in authenticity and joy. Your journey away from the noise has only just begun, but every choice you make to honor your soul's rhythm brings you closer to the fullness of your destiny. This is your invitation to step fully into the life you were always meant to live. one defined not by metrics or milestones, but by the sacred union of your spirit with the heartbeat of heaven. Comment free if you accept this divine invitation and choose to live beyond the world system, ascending with time, not aging. You've watched the calendar pages turn and felt a knot tighten in your chest each year, as if every passing month were another reminder that time is slipping through your fingers. You lie awake at night, questioning whether the dreams you once held bright will dim as your reflection shifts in the mirror. You've heard society's whispers, telling you that with each birthday, your best days lie behind you, that aging equals decline and loss. Yet in the depths of your heart, you sense a different truth beckoning you, that time is not your foe, but the very canvas upon which your soul's masterpiece is painted. You are not alone in this realization, and tonight you will discover why each year is not a sentence of decay, but an invitation to ascend higher into the person you were born to be. Perhaps you've felt that sting when friends comment on lines around your eyes, or when family members jokingly suggest you're over the hill and the laughter leaves a bruise. You've stood in crowded rooms where the spotlight seemed to shine on youth and vitality, and you wondered if you'd ever belong unless you too could somehow halt the clock. You've chased fleeting remedies, from trendy diets to fleeting fitness fads, only to find that beneath the surface of your efforts, a deeper longing remained unfulfilled. That yearning, this sense that your true vitality springs not from the absence of years, but from the depth of your journey, has driven you to question the world's narrative about aging. You've sought significance beyond the physical, because you felt in your bones that purpose and passion are not subject to the whims of time. Your true victory lies not in denying the years, but in honoring each one as a step toward your ultimate potential. Embrace every season as a season of elevation, trusting that your soul's ascent is the real measure of your life. Let each birthday be a milestone of deeper revelation, and every sunrise a reminder that time advances your purpose, not erodes it. Comment ascend if you honor your journey of rising higher with every passing year and stand ready to manifest the destiny written into your very seasons. Divine preservation through isolation. You've endured long hours in rooms where silence felt like a heavy blanket pressing down on your chest. You've scrolled through social feeds filled with laughter and connection, each image a reminder of gatherings you no longer attended. You've sat alone in the dawn's first light, wondering why your world seemed muted when everyone else's was alive with noise. You are not the only one who has tasted the bitterness of solitude branded as loss. Yet in the depths of this quiet, there lies a hidden sanctuary, a place where your soul waits to be restored and your body renewed. Tonight, you'll uncover the secret behind this divine preservation through isolation, and why the very season you deemed wasted has been the crucible of your greatest strength. There were days when the world's definition of loneliness left you feeling broken and unworthy. You recall invitations that faded into ghosted texts and phone calls that never came. You remember family gatherings where you sat at the periphery, a smile masking the ache of disconnection. Each abandoned plan reinforced the lie that solitude was a sign of divine rejection rather than divine selection. In those moments, you questioned whether purpose could sprout from barren ground, whether your calling could flourish in the absence of cheering crowds. You are proof that time bows to a soul in alignment. You are the living testament that aging is not inevitable when spirit reigns. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment, "I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul." Share it with someone who needs to see the power of divine preservation. Thank you to all our supporting members who lift this mission higher. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, Consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Remember, Chosen One, time didn't steal your youth. It revealed your purpose.